what to do. No one can tell us what to do.
Where did Felix go?
Felix Teru.
Hi.
Hi, Felix.
Hi.
Felix, if you stick around till the end of the show, it is crazy how much your voice has changed since you sang the closing song.
Okay.
Different person.
Or even if you can log back in at 9:20. First of all, I want to say thank you for joining us on the Isle of Roux, everyone watching. I'm going to do the land acknowledgement. The Creator gifted us with this land that we are blessed to share and care for together. We acknowledge that the land we gather on Wakinstis is the ancestral territory of the Siksika, the Tupi, the Siksika, the Gaina, the Piikani, and the Amska Piikani. We acknowledge all First Nations and Métis of Treaty 7 lands, the Sutena, Biitkabi, which includes Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Goodstoney. We commit to advancing reconciliation guided by truths, respecting treaty laws, and humbly walking alongside First Nations, Métis, and Inuit. We recognize all who live, work, play, and make art on these lands and who now call this home. We're very grateful. Also, we yesterday being Truth and Reconciliation Day in Canada, I think it's especially important to think about, and we did something special today to kind of recognize that.
You murdered a duck.
I'll tell you the whole story. We're taking
Wabbit season, duck season, wabbit season, duck season.
It's duck season.
Duck season, bam! Felix, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Wabbit season.
We'll tell you the
Duck season.
So some fan mail to Felix Roux.
Felix got mail.
Yay.
I butchered the envelope. Oh my. Okay, do you want to
So it is to Felix. Dear Felix, dated Thursday, September 18th. I was delighted to receive your letter last week. When I don't see you for a few days, I wonder what you've been doing. Heritage Park is a treasure. We went many times before you started school. I loved seeing the old cars and the trucks. You mentioned you and a few friends were starting a band. I hope you can succeed, as I would enjoy hearing you and the band, and perhaps at a school concert. Your letter asked me to let you know how long it took to receive after you posted it. The letter arrived on a Wednesday, so if you posted on a Sunday, it took 3 days. Love, Grandpa. Oh.
But this came weeks ago because you didn't open it on the weekend. Came right after you went home, and then we had a busy couple weeks.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if you came over twice or once. Are you going to have your elbow right in
No,
that
sorry,
spot
that
right
was me.
Are you going to remember to talk to the
I
people?
was leaning in. So, yes, this week was very incredible. We had the opportunity yesterday to go out on an adventure. Rich's friend from school is a guide, and he has his hunting guide license, and he took us out to the wilderness.
Took us hunting.
And it is opening September is duck season. And
Wabbit season.
I think it's duck season.
Wabbit season.
And geese season and grouse season and ptarmigans and partridges.
Shoot.
So we, they brought out Rich's friend and their friend, they brought out all the stuff. And so we were very lucky just to be able to come along. And we learned a lot about.
Sorry for scanning you like that.
You were just checking what I was
checking
wearing.
what you were wearing. Yeah,
I know
but
what you were doing.
it felt like I was oogling.
No, I knew what you're doing.
Wabbit season.
We drove out east south a little bit, and then we went to this first location where there was a pheasant release. And Felix, did you know that they grow pheasants and then they just release them to hunt them?
What?
And pheasants don't live naturally in this climate. It's very cold and it's a short season for the pheasants.
It's a little bit like chickens, but they instead of your yard, you
they release them into this little park.
Yeah.
And then everyone just brings their hunting dogs and their guns, and they just like.
And you have to hunt them.
You have to. It's like because they won't survive the winter, and they don't like because they were raised in captivity. They don't actually know how to feed themselves. So we were learning about the pheasants, and I grew up with a pheasant, and I want to ask my mom and dad where the pheasant went. I thought maybe Erin took it to her house because I always grew up with a pheasant in my house. Anyways, beautiful.
You're just over there.
Beautiful birds.
I'll anchor you. I put it in and the water
was already dirty. All right. So guess what? We were driving down this road to the pheasant release place where we were allowed to, because the other neat thing was there's this website that tells you where's public land, where's legal to go hunting, and where's not legal to go hunting, like where's private property and public property. And so they had this website and there's everything. They're very like, it was just a really good lesson in like the logistics of Stewardship. Yeah. And so Travis was telling us about how many numbers there are per year of these different animals and how the numbers are affected, both affect the landscape and how the numbers of the birds are affected by their like predators. And so they put out a certain number each year of how many you're allowed to hunt based on like breeding numbers and all that stuff. So you aren't allowed to shoot as many pheasants. So I think the limit per person was like 2. And then
we didn't get
any. There were so many people at that place. And then there was, Theo. Join us, Theo. Theo, join us. I'll put this in here, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So we went to the first place and we walked around with our stuff and they gave us the rundown of the safety of the guns and all the safety because they lent us an extra gun and so we got used to it and like learned that part too. And then we left that place pretty quickly because just like there's too many people and we went in formation out, like 4 of us, but we didn't roust any pheasants. So then we left there and we went to a new place and it was cool because they had learned about this place from the website and they're like, oh, there's a place right here we can try on our way to the other place. And
I found like they were like working their way through the information, pertinent information.
Mm-hmm.
But it also sounded like initially there's a lot of guessing for my liking. Like, yeah, maybe this is the spot. I'm like, well, what if it isn't? Well, then you get arrested for poaching. I was like, oh no. So we were not poaching, but like it seemed like there was a lot of like interpretation.
Right.
Did it not seem like very interpretive? Like, oh,
I think what was
is this the spot?
Yay,
and then
Theo's
sometimes
here.
when you'd find another
Hi,
person,
Theo.
I don't say another hunter because they were hunting tourists, but there was a weird sense of like when you got somewhere, you'd sort of ask, like, is this really the spot? And
yeah. Well, and I think the thing is that we, when you're going out and you're hunting on the public land, that there isn't necessarily signs and stuff. It's just not private land. So then the app was very good. And then we learned, oh yeah, they're actually following the app, but they were just being extra cautious. And
like they were asking each other questions,
like checking
while they were looking it up on the app. But I was like, why are they asking so many questions? And it was because they were just being extra super cautious about where they ended up.
Yeah.
But like, I guess like it is kind of complicated, the whole situation.
And I think it's really good that they're so like that they were being so respectful of the situation too. Like maybe if you're not that careful, that it's like it could be different. So we were with very careful and respectful people of that situation. Yeah. And I think maybe because we were new, they wanted to show like.
No, I think they're always like that.
Yeah.
Always
but so the second.
That's funny because I also think.
Yeah.
The reason we got invited was because of like the Felix Flex that we'd gone to a party at Travis's house, and Travis and Felix kind of hit it off throwing knives in the yard. And so Travis had said, hey, if you want to bring Felix on this trip, love to have him, and you can come too. And then I was like, sure. And then Felix did not want to go. Right, Felix?
That's right there.
Wasn't your bag of
Yeah,
beans?
I'm here.
It wasn't your bag of beans?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then they were
So
stuck
then-
with Jesse.
Yeah, we wondered if and my friends at work are like, oh, why did Travis invite you? Because they didn't get invited, right? And I was like, well, I think maybe, to be totally honest, I think he was hoping to bring Felix, but Felix is like, and right away, Felix, I was telling them like, oh, we kind of wondered like how this would go if Felix came, and then immediately I was like, this wouldn't have gone well, because the first thing we had to do, despite the fact that we're exactly where we're supposed to be, was climb over a barbed wire fence. I'm like, there's no way lawful Felix would go over top of this fence, and like trying to interpret like, why do they have a fence if this is the grounds you're allowed to hunt on? But maybe that's just part of the fun for the hunters, is they get to go over fences or something. And
because actually they were talking about that some of the places were fenced off. It's not private, it's pastoral land. So they will have which is sketchy for the cows that are grazing, but they use it so the cows are fertilizing the land and able to eat the grass, and obviously it's not cow season, so they're fine. And then there's so many ins and outs, ups and downs. But
Theo, have you ever been hunting?
Long time ago. Yes.
What was your typical experience? Did you go duck hunting, or what did you do?
No, we were going for bigger things to eat.
Mm.
Deer.
deer,
Oh,
Jesse brought down a duck
dear.
like a full-on gunslinger.
where
And
where did you hunt for deer, Theo?
On Vancouver Island and up the north shore of BC. Yeah.
up the lazy river.
Up the lazy river. Yeah. But no, never managed to shoot one. And shortly after that, I decided I didn't want to kill things to eat because I didn't need to. So, it was more teenage testosterone than anything else. I decided if I want to shoot things, I'd join the reserves, which I did. And they let me shoot every time they took us out to a range. So, I didn't have to pay for it either.
Well, Justin's family
That's so funny.
were sort of like people that take target practice. And so she had kind of an edge when it came to like pointing and shooting a gun.
Yep.
I had asked friends of mine years ago what would be involved in going hunting, because I kind of came to the conclusion a long, long time ago. I tried to be vegan for a while, and it just was not a good suit for me. And I decided, well, if I'm going to eat meat, I should probably experience the moment of hunting at least one time. And so I'd ask some friends, like, well, what goes into this? And they just kind of laughed at me, like, don't be ridiculous. And I think that, like, the difference between getting your license and becoming a hunter versus going with a guide and being shown what to do. Like, even at the end of the day, I was pretty bagged, and they were like cleaning their guns. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad those aren't my guns. And so I don't know if we'll ever go back. Like, it's probably it's not going to be a reoccurring thing for us, but it certainly was an opportunity to step outside of our comfort zones.
Yeah, lots of learning.
Yeah. And Jess killed a duck and then we ate it.
Yeah, that talk about learning. Travis had me hold it so I could like feel it, and then he told me how to clean it, and then we were able to pull off like the beautiful like feathers as like to like kind of learn about them a little bit. So I have like some of the different feathers of the duck, and then when we got home, it was like very late, but I'm really glad we did. We cooked it and we ate it that night. So it was just like,
you don't get a lot of meat per duck.
No, you do not.
Which kind of makes me wonder about the chickens we eat, because you can get a lot of meat with your chickens. And it was kind of remarkable how little.
Truly. So, and just like the utmost respect, we were talking about like how much, if like you said, Theo, like we don't have to. Like, we're so lucky we have such a variety of things to eat. But it's like,
okay, but hang on, because
Yeah.
you do kill the duck whether you kill it yourself or not, right? Like
Mhm.
right,
every time you eat, you're having a duck.
Right.
That was a duck's life. Now, usually it's chickens.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that and honestly, it was a courtesy of the duck hunters that invited us. I do kind of like, I won't eat mustard if I can avoid it, right?
Mhm.
However, if I'm at somebody's house and they make me something from a culture that's unusual to me, I almost always try it no matter how weird it is, because I really believe in like honoring people's differences. So like the fact that really it was quite an honor to be invited.
Mhm.
I think a lot of the other teachers felt kind of left out. Like I said, we were about 3 minutes in before I was like, Felix would not enjoy this. And it wasn't just the fence we had to go over. There's a couple other.
Well, the cleaning
Felix.
of the duck.
Felix, cover your ears.
Hi, Jessica's here.
We stepped
Hi,
on
Jessica.
we stepped on a lot of plants.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Nice.
How are you all?
We are doing okay as well. We saw your I saw your post. You're looking out for a space in the area to stay.
I am, yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And did you stay kind of south of Calgary? Or
I'm
south?
flexible. Yeah, just
Cool.
anywhere in December while I look to buy a house.
Very cool. That's a good adventure.
It's going to be intense. Trying to do it all in 1 month.
That is super intense.
You know what? That's actually the one thing I really am committed to never doing again. And it really comes down to like, I think there's certain systems that hold us down, right? And so you're a kid and you want a job, but you can't get a job because you haven't had a job is a crappy system, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And then this idea that you want a house, but you got to save up to buy a house, and then you have a house, and then you want a different house. So you spend all this time looking for a house, and then you find your dream house, but you have to like get rid of your old house immediately. And then it just seems like that flip flop where you have a month to find the perfect place
Yeah.
seems to be an impossible way to live. So the next time I move, I'm putting my stuff into storage, and then I'm going to come back and take my time to find the house.
There you go.
I don't think I'll move again unless I move into a van where I not have to spend, especially that moving weekend drives me nuts when everybody's moving and you're trying to get in the elevator.
Oh, yeah. The hot commodity, that moving elevator.
Hey, this is a crazy one. They changed our elevator since we moved in. They took out the old elevator and put a new elevator in. The only problem is my current bed mattress
Doesn't fit.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't go back down.
It fit in the old elevator, but then they put like a superfluous like surface on the inside, so it's like that much thinner on each wall.
That's crazy.
We'll have to deconstruct everything to get out.
We'll have to chop up that mattress to get it out.
That's wild.
Oh, can't you throw it off the balcony?
15 floors. We could put a
Just
rope
have a big,
down.
block the street off, and just, heads up, bring it off. Make it an art event so that you've got some plausible deniability. Film it, the whole 9 yards, and it might be worth all of the fines that might get levied against you.
It's happening.
It so happens that, and this is one of the 3 or 4 things I'm least proud of in my life. So hopefully nobody's listening that's going to report me. But I've lived in this building 4 times. And the first time when I lived in this building, I was on the 23rd floor. And I was not mature enough to live on the 23rd floor of an apartment building when I moved here the first time. And I remember, really, I was just curious what it would look like to fling an ottoman out the window onto 9th Avenue.
An ottoman?
just a little one.
My
And
goodness.
well, do you want to hear the story or
Yes,
not?
I do. Sorry.
I'm not bragging.
Oh.
So let's just say hypothetically the Ottoman left my grasp and went out the window towards 9th Avenue. What you don't realize, being the physics Jesus I was, that you're about as far up in the air
Mhm.
as the first corner, right? So at the speed that chair is falling versus the speed that a car going way too fast could come around that corner, the street could be completely clear for 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
And as the Ottoman's coming down out of the window, there could be a car coming right at it. And definitely saw my life pass before my eyes. I'm pretty sure that enough years have passed that even if I was recorded saying this, that that's American, the statute of limitations. But did I actually say I threw an Ottoman out the window, or did
No.
I just imply it?
No, just you were hypothetically speaking. However, if you must throw things off of balconies, the higher the better, or whatever. If you're a guy, you can do this fairly easily. Just piss off the balcony. Yeah, I don't recommend that, Felix, but it's sometimes dire measures are needed, and it might involve peeing off a balcony.
Do you do this in your current place?
Pardon?
That wouldn't be fun in
Do you
his
do
current
this in your
place.
current stuff?
I couldn't do it. I don't have a balcony.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're just speaking as a hypothetical.
I know a guy who confessed to doing this at some point in his early life, and
Another testosterone fueled moment.
well, I think it was more alcohol fueled than testosterone. Yeah.
It's a funny thing about alcohol that it impairs your judgment, right? And you can't drive a car because it impairs your judgment, and I get that. But it's like, also the people drive, and I'm not making excuses in any way for people that drive their cars when they're impaired. I just think it's interesting that, like, if I know that I can't drive a car when I'm impaired, I should also not be trusted to get impaired if I can't be trusted to not make good decisions. You know what I mean? Like the idea that people suddenly become responsible enough to not drive their cars while they're drunk is like, there's two things happening. Their judgment's impaired, so they shouldn't be driving. But what's to stop them from getting behind the wheel is their judgment. And I think there's a sort of a flaw in that reasoning. And I don't want this to sound like I'm making excuses for people, because I absolutely abhor people drinking and driving. And I'm one of the few people I think that can say that I don't think I have. If I said virtually never done it, I'd have to tell the rest of that story. But I don't think I have driven drunk.
Hey, Rich, can I interject with something kind of intense?
Yes. In fact, I kind of half expected that you would.
Is that why you invited me?
No, but as I was telling the story, I was like, I bet you I'm going to get in trouble right now.
No, it's totally unrelated to your story, actually. Okay. I've just been obsessing over watching the Global Samud Flotilla live stream and tracker over the past 12 hours. So
that's Greta?
Yeah, so
and I'm a huge fan of her.
I mean, I love her too. There are so many really good activists on this flotilla, and there was something like 3 Canadians on the Conscience that just got kidnapped. But on the plus side, 4 of the ships are about 5 kilometers away from the Gaza Strip.
Wow.
And that's the closest anybody's ever got in the last 2-3 years. So.
Wow, that is very intense. I'm following this one musician that I really like from the States, Carsey Blanton, is on one of the flotillas right now. It's like, so she's updating too from like her vantage point online. I think the fact that we have social media outlets able to like see in real time what's happening is so insane. Like,
yeah.
Were you in town when Greta Thunberg came to Calgary and
no.
And I don't mean to like centralize around her. I'm just saying, but were you in town when she came? And then she read it. She spoke in Edmonton as well, and all the truckers drove by and honked their horns.
Oh, was that at the release of her book that she
Yeah.
when she first really got big?
I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because I think I did for that. Yes.
So around that time, there's a sticker company in Red Deer that produced a sticker that I'm not going to describe, but it had a disrespectful
Yeah.
picture of young Greta. And I thought to myself, it's been so prominent in my mind, this sticker that the people were putting on their trucks is so in such high contrast with the concern that the UCP had for books in the libraries, right? Like they seemed okay with this young girl's exploitive
Imagery
image on a truck, but just so offended that
that
lovemaking might take place in a
or anything human might take place in a book that
but
has any
like,
connotations.
that was such an incredibly disrespectful image to make of a young person.
And it's so unfair too. Like this young woman has morals and a passion for justice. Oh yeah, let's throw her under the bus because she makes us look bad.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like to squash anybody who else might be thinking of speaking up. I think that's that like such bullying mentality and completely. They flip their conscious, like they flip their whole awareness when they want to. Like those people aren't.
Let's not other them.
No,
I'm with you because I did it too.
The people who did that with the stickers and the people who.
Oh no, we'll other the sticker peoples. Those are the others.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, they are pretty. They othered themselves because I think that's. But I think the hard part is when you can see that shift and like picking and choosing,
right?
I think is really hard to connect with people.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
no, you're not wrong.
Because consistently children need to be protected. Consistently people who are passionate about protecting the world need to be protected. Like
talk to me about those Greta Thunberg stickers before you talk to me about some kissy book in Twilight or
yeah.
And then there's also the Ayn Rand books that were.
But there are so many important things that are happening right now. You're totally right, Jessica. Like in this moment right now, there are so many things happening, and it's just like it feels so much all the time. But then I like being able to like force this is such a nice place to force myself to go onto this island and draw and like think about. It's almost like this moment too that we can think about what's happened since last week, like reflect on it and like digest too, because it's like there's so much that it's like.
But also, like when we come home from school on Thursday, it feels like we've been away. So we call it the Island of Roux, and it's always been like. But it really does. It really does feel like we've gone somewhere.
Totally.
That's great.
And it's even nicer when our friends join us on here because then we're able to have these like just different conversations based on who shows up too, which is like it's a huge gift.
Oh, well, thanks for the invite. I kind of feel like I'm in like a Muppet special, like with all the bosses.
Oh, you do?
I mean that in the nicest of ways.
Oh no, he's getting ready with the puppet videos. That's why. That was a good segue, Jessica.
And away we go.
Perfect.
That one was just weird.
Felix, what did you think of that? I was like most curious about your opinion.
How did you make that?
I don't want to talk about it. So what we're doing here on the Isle of Roux is trying to reconnect with our authentic analog selves. But every now and then, basically a lot of times we'll shoot the puppet part, and then do a green screen, and sometimes we'll lip sync to our own song or what have you when we're singing it. That one, I just got wacky, and I used the artificial intelligence, but not okay.
I knew it, Rich.
Yeah, he burned up gigajoules of energy to do that.
No, listen. Yeah. Let me know when I can speak. Are you guys ready? It's not what you think, because we never use AI as a shortcut, only as a long cut. So I generated a bunch of bizarre images in the AI, and then they're all compiled in filters and overlaps in the movie program that I use. So it's actually very, very little AI, but it looks very AI because I was tinkering with pieces. It's a very long, complex story, but basically, we have rules. We actually have a dogma for the use of AI on this, because the only way the Isle of Roux works is if the content is authentic. But sometimes I'm authentically tampering with the AI. So if is she still judging me?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm harsh, man. I'm harsh.
Ready? Maybe you'll like this. Maybe you like this one better.
Love is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring. Bound by wild desire, I fell into a ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. Went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire, the ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. Went down, 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 and flames went higher. Burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire, the ring of fire. The taste of love is sweet when hearts like ours beat. I fell for you like a child. Oh, but in the fiery wine. Went down, 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 and flames went higher. And it burns, 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 that ring of fire, the ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. Went down, 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 and flames went higher. And it burns, 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 that ring of fire, the ring of fire. It burns, 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 the ring of fire, 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 the ring of fire.
Well, there's now officially 3 versions on the Intertubies: Johnny Cash, June Carter, and
The goat.
you guys.
I was
So-
gonna say you should have shown that one first, because that gives context to the fuzzy yellow guy that's in the other one.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Here's the thing is, and this is the weird thing about this, is there's probably 12 copyright infringements in the Ring of Fire. Like I stole the fire from I'm not going to set our apartment on fire, but
Right,
but
good.
there's no AI in that one. But the truth is, as much as AI is like a thief and steals copyrights, I'm legitimately.
So do we.
So do we.
There's at least 12 things I stole to make that, and the reason I made that was actually so. This will be very strange if you're just joining us for the first time, but there was a 22 episode storyline where Jess, Felix, and Rich went off into space. We took a break over the summer, and for season 2, without any explanation, our spaceship turned into an underwater submarine. And so we're just working out, first of all, why we're underwater, and second of all, at home, our car's not working. So there's several videos tonight that involve fire because I needed to steal some greens. The process is so sketchy too, because I have like the means to use certain. We have a source that we use that we pay for. It's a paid. What's it called? Like a subscription.
A subscription, yeah.
For lots of things we need. But
Like
half the time,
sounds, effects, and
but
stuff.
we're so under pressure to get things done on time for just the continuous thing, and there's no time limit. When I say under pressure, it's just me and my broken brain. But rather than authentically downloading the fire from the site that we pay for, I'll be in the middle of fire, so I'll just YouTube like breathe fire, and then literally videotape it with my phone and then transfer it. So I'm videotaping off my screen to steal things. I am so sketchy in that way. But this is the actual fire reoccur.
It was a theme. This one we will.
Hello?
Oh, hi. Are you okay, Felix? What are you doing?
Okay, so this is Lost Hero X Season 2, Episode 3.
Season 2, Episode 3.
Season 2, Episode 3, and it won't make any sense, but just know that it started out
I think
making
they're good standalone.
way less sense.
Okay.
Space.
So did you ever get that sonar working?
The sonar?
The sonar.
You say that like there's just
Pickle,
any
wiggle,
old thing.
pimple.
The sonar's not working. I'm trying to find our way home.
Good, Durga, Virga, boo!
It's Virga B, and I told you not to do magic in the back of the sub.
Look right here. Zurga, boo.
Oh, you gotta be careful. You know what this ship runs on?
Imagination.
Imagination. You gotta be careful with that magic.
Felix, it's not a joke.
Tar.
Felix!
It's not like I'm gonna start a fire or something. Centaur. Snaggle baggle.
Oh my gosh. A fire! You started a real fire! We need water, Rich! Oh!
What do you mean we need water?
There's a real fire behind you!
I just drank all the water.
But we need water to put out the fire!
Wingo, bingo, water spell.
How can we be in a submarine with no water?
I know. I'll open the hatch.
No, don't! And then, yeah.
Okay, can we sit down? Okay, well, that was offensive. not enough magic to like just find your way home. It's probably good. So you stop. That's very good.
Well done.
They just keep getting weirder and weirder.
I really like the stolen fire and presumably the stolen water as well.
Presumably. What do you mean?
I
It was,
stole the water too.
it was real water.
There was no AI.
Yeah, just good old fashioned individual theft.
Yeah.
It's not theft. It's called swiping. It's an honorable tradition.
An honorable truth. I like that.
Well, really, I would say it probably fits within the boundaries of sampling.
Yeah.
And here's a generation gap: is I worked from 1995 to 2000 in a multimedia place where 90% of what we generated was we did a lot of sampling, and like that was so normal back then that like Vanilla Ice and all those awful lawsuits that came from the early days of like people sampling this thing or that thing, and there were sort of these loose boundaries that if you kept it to under 15 seconds it was acceptable. But the world's evolved since then, and it's tough because I talk about this all the time. There was a time when Aerosmith was bending genders and dressing in glam rock and makeup, and they were groundbreakingly opening up opportunities for people to express themselves. And they had a song called "Dude Looks Like a Lady," which was a song about being a tough guy in a rock band but getting chased around for having makeup on. And the kids I teach, they see that song as a hate crime. And I can empathize that from where they're coming from. They're not seeing.
God, I never understood that song. I've been listening to it for 20 years.
I think there was some macho testosterone guys sort of like talking about wearing makeup, but I also think that was a step, like David Bowie or many steps in trying to normalize people being able to break free of those gender norms. And I don't presume to know why they did it, why they were dressing in glam rock in the 80s. But what I do think is that men like Mark Twain would be a very good example of an ally that became a villain as time moved, right? That he had a passion and a love for people, and he was trying to build equality. But as time moved on, the words that he used were unacceptable, and it's difficult to
okay. I see what you're saying.
Or it's funny, like To Kill a Mockingbird shaped me definitively as a kid, and then the teachers I work with will talk about whether they're going to use this book or not if it uses certain words, and I'm like, there's lots of books, and I'm not one to turn on the classics, but maybe what makes a book a classic is the fact that it withstands the test of time. And if you're sitting here telling me that kids in my class are going to be triggered by a word that they don't need to hear because there aren't enough books to pick from, I think it's unimaginative. And people can read those books their whole lives, but I think it's tough because I think initially in my career I would have been, no, it's a classic, we must read To Kill a Mockingbird. But as I became more seasoned, as they salted my other side, I do find myself thinking, well, there's lots of books to pick from.
Oh.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, as a teacher too, and like you were just talking about, like, book bans, it's like, right? Like, you're not saying like banning anything or censoring. It's just like, if you have a choice between a million different things and we're having conversations, maybe that's better suited to a different, even a different class at this point. Like, because we talk about, and like the idea of, because now there's actually like whole courses that are geared towards that, rather than having to have one conversation in a novel.
Right.
Now you can like.
But I'm also seated on the side of I have a book that is on the recommended reading list for the Alberta young readers.
Yeah.
And I would desperately love for it to be banned, right? Like that would be the badge of honor that I was hoping for. So,
so there's many ideas at the same time.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I'm not for book bannings, but I sure would love my book banned.
Well, what about?
I'm worried about the.
What about a course?
What?
What about a course then? Or theology is the study of religion. Something that talks about books and talks about why they're great. I don't think you could teach it to grade ones, but you could. I'm pretty sure you could probably start talking about stuff like that with kids that are in grade 6 and farther on.
Well, I think
even if there are aspects of those books that might trigger some things, you can talk about why they're still considered great literature and the underlying themes that they expose.
I think we do that either way. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. We agree for sure, Theo. Yeah. That like it's not just ever throwing it at the kids too. Like you said, it's that like it's the conversation. That's what we're talking about with the book ban, quote unquote, is like it's never like a case where teachers like throw things at you and then don't explain things too. It's like you're saying, it's always that in that environment of that community of the classroom, having those conversations.
And you have to build trust, because anything you say can be twisted or misunderstood. And
or like you said,
everything you say will get misunderstood at some point, because you're talking to 30 people at once, and there's different levels of people are paying attention,
focus,
and so
comprehension, and like even family background, like the idea of kids are hearing certain things at home all the time, which is like their family, and then like so everyone's hearing, and then prefrontal cortex like growth,
so undeveloped.
Yeah, totally. Like so there it's even the best well explained class can
well, and for me it's because I'm so sure of myself that I'm right about everything. that I often assume that it must sound pretty awful to somebody that's equally sure about the opposite of what I think. So when I hear people say things that I don't agree with, I might be burning inside with rage, but I'm also thinking, wow, they must be burning with rage with so many things I've said. So it's just being aware that like the world, I don't think we'll be happy till the aliens attack. When the aliens attack, we'll all pull together.
Thank God. I'm looking forward to that day.
Right?
Oh, every day.
Won't be till the overlords are serving us as delicacy that humans will ever pull together. And
have you ever heard that song "Earth is Ghetto"?
What?
No.
There's a wonderful song called "Earth is Ghetto."
Okay.
I don't know if you can search it and play it. It's on. There's a music video for it. I just found it's by Elias Sheffield, and it is just a phenomenal.
Yeah.
A song about what we just said.
Nice. I have to look that up.
It's interesting because we're talking about triggers, and that's a trigger for me, ghetto, is because I used to teach at the school that the kids would often use the phrase, "the school's so ghetto." And I had this lovely sister and brother that came from Cuba, and then they lived in LA, and then they moved to Calgary. And I was just chatting with her one day, and I was like, "What do you like about Calgary?" And she's like, "Oh," she said the thing she liked about Calgary. I said, "What's something you don't like about Calgary?" And she's like, "I don't like when kids here use the word ghetto. This is not a ghetto." And I was like, wow, like that is a heavy thought. And I was glad that I hadn't used that word, but she said it in front of the kids that were using that phrase all the time, and everybody in the class shut up really fast. Like it is interesting when we start to realize that, knowing how much you don't know is like a really humbling opportunity. And but I would suspect the song you're telling us about is very thoughtful and respectful the way they use that word.
Oh yeah, well, it's written by a African American lady,
Yeah.
and I can pull up the lyrics.
We do get bumped if we use too much foul language.
Oh no, there's no swears.
In the envelope a little bit lately. I say that with love.
It's Earth is ghetto. I wanna leave. Can you beam me up? I'm out on the street by the corner store. You know, the one on 15th. Got a bright shirt on, so I'm easy to see. I've been down here stranded indefinitely. Can't reach my planet, but I need to leave. You should see these people. It's hard to believe how they treat each other. It's hard to conceive. Oh, Earth is ghetto. I wanna leave. Earth is ghetto.
What are you doing every
That
Wednesday
was
for the rest of your
so
life?
good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you so much for that. Oh my
You're
god.
welcome.
Were you an actress when we met?
I was, but I was on the DL.
What's that mean?
Down low.
What's that mean? No.
Down low.
How can you be a down low actress?
I wasn't acting in Calgary. I had acted elsewhere, but I wasn't really doing it so much in Calgary.
I felt initially though. Did we meet you through the was it the project that Michael Rourke was doing?
Like the improv nights.
Do you remember how we met?
Yeah, no, I think it was just in one of your just visual art rumble houses, but I did go to the improv nights that you were
Right.
thinking of, and I did improv.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Did you improv with us?
Yeah, I did a couple times, and I brought my then husband to do it, and he sucked. That's a red flag. If he doesn't know how to have fun in improv, I'm sorry.
I think that improv is going to be one of the shining lights that outlives the AI monster.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think that's it's a safe spot for humans.
Please.
I also think the kind of art that Jess and I make, where we're often exposing ourselves by doing the art making in front of people, not exposing ourselves, but
I thought of that video you made with the AI puppet.
Exposing
The little
himself?
yellow guy. Yeah.
listen, I knew I was going to catch heat for that.
Sorry.
But I am committed to finding a decent use for, and also every time I sign out with the AI, I'm like,
I
just
like it.
remember, I was always your friend. You know what? My whole life, I empathized with the robot and the alien. So I love Star Trek. When Leonard Nimoy passed, I was crushed because as a weirdo kid, I needed those other characters. And there wasn't ever a movie about a robot where there was that big misunderstanding and the robot's fighting for a soul or for the rights of a human. And I'm a passionate lover of science fiction for its ability to have people erase their biases. And you're watching Rod Serling and the red robots are killing the blue robots, and everybody in North America in the 1960s was saying, that's so wrong, why are they doing that? But they would slowly piece together that it was a metaphor. And I think science fiction I've always loved as a metaphor. But I also have an empathy for this idea that at what point does the machine have rights? And so I always got sucked into that narrative. So it's difficult for me to buy in 100% about not loving.
Do androids dream of electric sheep?
You got it, yeah.
Exactly.
My whole life I empathize with the robots over the humans, and then so I understand the crisis people are going through. But I also sort of think, that we've always been about inclusion. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to find some ways to include. Here, watch. I'm going to include the AI. Ready? Okay, no, that's not appropriate. Let's try another one. Maybe this will be more enjoyable. Do I have another one? Oh yeah, here we go. Because I went to the trouble of stealing fire, I used it a few times.
Lord Almighty, feel my temperature rising. Fire, it's burning through to my soul.
So cute.
Girl, 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 you set me on fire. My brain is flaming, I don't know which way to go. Your kisses lift me higher, like a sweet song of the choir. Light my morning sky with burning love. Ooh, 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 I feel my temperature rising. Help me up, flaming, I must be 104. Burn, 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 and nothing you can do me. Yeah, I must return in this mode. I feel fine. Cause your kisses make me higher, like a sweet song of a choir. Burning sky with burning love. Ooh, ooh. Ah, ah, ah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Burning love. It's coming closer. The flames are licking my body. Won't you help me? Feel like I'm slipping away. It's hard to breathe. My chest is heavy. Lord have mercy. I'm burning my whole body. Yeah. The kisses lift me higher. Like a sweet song of a choir. Like everyone is shouting. Burning love. Burning love.
Right.
Burning love. Burning love. I'm just a hunk of burning love. I'm just a hunk of burning love. Just a hunk of burning love. Just a hunk of burning love. I'm just a hunk of burning love. Just a hunk of burning love. Just a hunk of burning love.
Yeah.
Did that get frozen for you guys too? It froze a lot for us on the screen.
No.
No, I didn't see it.
It's too bad. You had to see the whole thing.
No, I liked it, especially the.
It's like, oh,
Do
it's
you know?
crazy.
Can I tell you a little bit of folklore about the Swedish chef?
Tell me about it.
Okay, so the Swedish chef, he was special because he's the only Muppet that had actual fingers, and he had two manicured finger hands, and his nails were beautiful, but they were human hands with a silly puppet face and some gibberish talk. Do you remember the original Swedish chef?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Now, there was something inherently funny about the Swedish chef that we sensed as the audience, but it wasn't presented to us in any way. It's just the way it unfolded. But because of the intensity of their performance, the audience would have the feeling that something really funny was happening, even though we didn't exactly know what was funny. So I'll throw this at kids. I'll show them the Muppets and I go, "What's funny about the Swedish chef?" They're like, "You know, he talks funny. He goes, Furby, Florida, Shirley, Furby." It's not funny. His voice isn't funny. And the chopping skit isn't really well thought out, and it's not really funny either. Let me just tell you what's funny about the Swedish chef. There's two puppeteers, and their entire livelihood is based on their hands. And they have an actual sharp knife, and they're improvising to each other blind, right? So they're both under the table, and the hands are going like shit with the knife, and the mouth is just making up stories that sound like it would make sense for the hand, and they're guessing at what each other's doing, and the intensity that either one of them could get a hand chopped off at any second was what made that unintentionally, intentionally, unintentionally, intentionally, intentionally, unintentionally funny, right?
Okay.
And so none of the surface stuff was funny in the slightest, but there was an air of danger that was threaded through the performance that would, I think, inherently come up. Now, why anybody would want to sit through Jess and I with puppets singing?
I mean, I liked it because it was fun.
I love that.
Sure.
Exactly.
But can I tell you my theory on why it's fun?
Okay.
I think it's a residue of the actual event of recording it. Because in reality, Jess and I live in this really sweet building that's like really old. The pipes are whatever. They spray for cockroaches all the time. My neighbors, I love like family. You know every detail of what goes on between the doorway and the elevator because the front doors are paper thin. So every time you leave the house, you hear everybody's business. And the fact that Jess and I live in this tiny, not very soundproof apartment, wailing on a Saturday night is what's actually funny about that video. And like you don't perceive like the incredible vulnerability we're going through when everybody else in the building's trying to sleep and we've set up our studio and we're screaming hunk of burning love as puppets. The people in the hallways don't know we're puppets either. All right, so we know everybody can hear it, but they don't know what's going on. And I think it's the abject terror in my voice and her voice trying to muscle through the reluctance of I don't want to do this. Everyone can hear me. And I think it's that vulnerability that makes it funny, but it's not on the surface. It's kind of like being in danger of chopping your puppet hands off, you know?
That is really funny.
That's my theory.
Dang.
I could be completely wrong.
That's deep. That's deep, Rich.
That idea goes back to my very first year at art school about 86 million years ago. There's a young man named Martin in my class who was experimenting with taking these sheets of 2 foot by 3 foot paper and taking graphite and just surface darkening them. The entire idea was that the paper would turn, he thought, maybe into something he could see his reflection in. If he worked at this paper long enough with the graphite, could he put this his reflection into it? And this young man, Martin, was absolutely crazy about some strange things, like not strange. It's just that it didn't suit him that he was a huge Prince fan. Like he lived for Prince, and he lived for Madonna and Michael Jordan. These were the 3 passions of his life. And I remember saying to him in the crits, we're just having this discussion class. I said, it'd be so interesting to me if you could spend like the 2 hours you spent coloring this paper black, thinking about Prince, and then don't change anything mechanically, the same thing on a different piece of paper, but then think about Madonna, and then do the same thing on another piece of paper and think about Michael Jordan, and see if the objects have a different resonance with them. And nuts. And later on that year, I did an experiment where I turned a cube into a sphere. And all I really had to work from was I was really passionate about if I smacked this cube for 3 hours with a mallet and a chisel, if I turn it into a sphere, would that transition read differently than if I just cast a sphere?
Right.
And I got the response I was hoping for. And so it's always been a passion of mine. And actually our mentor, Alexander Elliott, wrote a book called Sight and Insight, that every painting has to be a thing that you can see and then a thing that's unseen. So what's unseen in our puppet videos is us like dangling off the balconies feeling like a-holes while our neighbors are trying to sleep.
Well, what a wonderful result.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love that.
And obviously
I like that a lot.
This week was brought to you by Stolen Fire off a green screen on the internet.
This week brought to you by Jack Pike. Oh, nice nails.
Thanks. That's what I was working on.
Oh, I love that. That is so fun. Jack Pike, very supportive. Also saying, you have a hidden camera in my classroom. That's funny. I think that's the best video version of this song I've seen. What a nice thing.
And also, we recorded that on a vinyl record. All right, here's a funny story. Jack Pike is a friend of ours, and he's maybe my best friend. And Jack Pike has been volunteering at the gallery for 12 years. And Jack Pike has actually been to many of our broadcasts, but it's only just recently that Jack Pike realized I didn't know who Jack Pike was. So the name Jack Pike is a pseudonym for Galen. It's not a secret. It's just that he couldn't change it, or he didn't change it. For some reason, it didn't get changed. And how did it begin? We're just talking, and all of a sudden he's like, "You don't know I'm Jack Pike?" And I was like, "Oh my god, like that makes
I
so much
laughed
sense."
for like 10 minutes.
Well, because
no, you were on the phone. You're on the phone.
Yeah.
And then he brought it up.
Jack, give us a call. 403-629-7424. Jack, give us a call. 403-629-7424. Call now. 403-629-7424. Yeah. Anyways, something came up where Galen realized I didn't know, but he was also super impressed that I didn't let on that I didn't know who he was. Because what a lot of people don't know, it's 5 years he was Jack Pike. Yeah, for 5 years I kept him thinking I knew who he was. Oh, really?
Oh my goodness.
What?
Look at the phone.
Hey, Jack.
So nice.
How's it going? Good? Good. Excellent. I really just love the sound of the ring. Who's talking in the back? Who's talking in the background? Oh, is that me? Oh, that's quite a loop. That is quite a loop. Well, actually, it's funny because we weren't able to have phone calls on the show at all because of the digital feedback loop, right? But now that you're calling on this analog phone, it works well, and it works the same as our whole Dead Kevin promise that the people at home can't hear you speaking, but they can hear me speaking. Can you hear Galen at all? I mean,
No.
Jack Pike?
No, I can't hear him through the phone.
Yeah. All right. No, it's yellow. It's yellow. And then I replaced this piece here with the Isle of Roux. I might upgrade this in a bit. I want to just, you remember how they used to pop out? You could put little graphics in there. Yeah, but it was sticky. The guy that sold it to us stuck a sticker on here advertising his store, and when I peeled it off, it was all covering a sticker that was stuck.
Is that too
Yeah,
loud?
you could type it out. Hey, you want to see Jess's phone typewriter? Or replace it with the phone.
Look at the phone. Look,
Put it down.
I found a
It's
script writer.
What?
Yeah, so I bought it from a gentleman over at Etsy from Poland, and he refurbishes these
That's
like.
the family.
Huh?
No, Dr. Deal.
Oh, sorry.
Or Jack.
Yeah, so it's in cursive. So here,
Hey, we went hunting yesterday. Yeah. Love it. It's so funny. I'm going to talk about my autism.
Oh, sweet.
Hunting story.
Wow.
We also, we're going to be off next week.
I'm making bookmarks to give to my kids.
Okay, so I've had a few
class,
offers
so I'm
for fishing
typing
rods,
them
but I
out.
have a feeling about the one. I had a feeling for the one that you said you'd love me.
That is
cool?
so cool. It types in cursive.
Get off the phone now. Do a live broadcast.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling. Call back anytime you like.
So, that was so nice. We have this yellow phone and a nice avocado green typewriter. This is off
Oh, please do. Like you could think you were gonna annoy me, but you can't. You fool me 700 times, it'll throw my heart. There's something inherently exciting about this ring. And I think the last time anybody called us on this phone, our views went from like sometimes they're like 8,000, sometimes they're 14,000. I think we hit like 20,000 on the night with the. This is something I always wondered about with TV shows. You'd have like Merv Griffin or something. Is that his name? Merv Griffith?
Griffin?
Sure. And then they'd have like a fight on the show and the ratings would go through the roof. What I didn't quite understand is how did the viewers know to tune in for those fights? Unless it was just when they were flipping channels, they saw chairs flying around and that would up the views enough that it was a substantial. Anyways, phone me at least 3 more times if you can. Okay, talk to you later. It's so satisfying to hang that up too. I would highly recommend
Getting a rotary phone.
Yeah. Plus,
It's like you're the mayor with
What's that?
Batman. It's like you're the mayor with Batman.
We came up with a name for it, didn't we?
Is it? Oh, it's not the Rumble phone.
No, it was way more nuanced.
Oh, it was. Oh, yeah. It was one word led into another word. You're right. Not the Imaginarium, Snuffleupagus.
It was
I'm trying to
close to
think of
that.
the word because we like mashed one word up into another.
We
word.
invented a word for our phone.
Oh, it was so good.
Imagine all the things we've
We
forgotten.
didn't imagine all the things we've forgotten.
I have good ideas.
So I hate to say it, but there's not a lot of progress with the flotilla in terms of like actual kilometers closer.
Yeah.
Mm.
They keep getting pulled over, but then others keep on overtaking the pulled over ones.
Okay.
So it's like they're consistently moving ahead, but at a snail's pace with everybody getting pulled
Right.
over.
I support moving forward at a snail's pace
Right.
in such a dangerous situation.
Totally.
I support this.
Like
Even if it's just for the sake of like prolonging life, I'm supportive of this.
wasn't that Martin Luther King quote? If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl.
But always
Keep moving
yeah.
forward.
Yeah. Let me tell you about my experience hunting.
Okay, yeah, please.
Yeah.
Because
So you and I went out hunting,
Mhm.
and I think Felix was who they wanted, but they got us. And I think they were a little shocked I brought my wife. Apparently, that's not a very hunterly thing to do. No, they were very gentle about me bringing my wife.
They were, yeah.
And they were quite pleased that you'd shot a gun before.
Yes.
And initially, we went out and what did they call it? Flush the field.
Yes.
And I honestly thought that's what we're doing. Like somebody had asked the week before, like, "Oh, is Travis bringing his dog?" Something. I think that's what I'm doing. Is I thought I was going through
Flushing the
a
field.
field with a stick to get the pheasants to fly up so they could shoot them. So when they handed us a gun, which you and I had to share, it was like, this doesn't seem like a rich thing to do. Like Batman doesn't use a gun. That was my first thought. Was Batman never uses a gun.
Oh.
And then so we had the guns. And went the first site. It was like a no-go. Then we went to the second site. And right away, Travis fired off a shot and
right away
and found himself some dinner of the first duck.
Mm-hmm.
When that gun went off, the voice that speaks in my head says, "No, I'm not doing that. No way. That's not for me. It might have said that's not for us.
Right.
We're not doing that.
We don't like that."
And I thought, you know what? I can fake it. I'll just hold the gun when it's my turn, like Les Nessman playing baseball. I will pretend to be part of this day as long as I can get away with. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't mind carrying the gun to the second site for you, whereas like I just acted like, well, I carried it here, so you could have a turn shooting it. And then you were quite heroic. You brought down that bird and showed everyone up that day. That was quite amazing.
I also said a thank you prayer to the earth.
But when you shot the gun, even more so, I thought, I don't want to do that. And like there was an instant like beep in my ear every time the gun went off. Yeah. And so every time somebody shot that day, I thought, I'm never doing that. Not in a scared way. But like if you have mustard on my burger way, I don't really need to eat that. It's not for me. Yeah. And I didn't want to offend anybody. And I did know that like if I get back to school and my wife had the best shot of the day and I didn't fire the gun off, that I would hear like some ribbing from the rest of the staff. And Travis was super supportive. However, I decided, well, for today, because you were really getting into it too, right? Like she shot this duck and then she's doing the pee-pee dance with the gun. I'm like, don't jump with the gun, don't jump with the gun. So there was a lot of like.
It wasn't the pee-pee dance, it was the yay dance.
Yeah, but it looked like the pee-pee dance.
Oh.
Calm the F down if you've got a loaded weapon in your hand. Is the safety on? Let's just double check the safety's on. And but you were like manic when you shot that. You went into a frenzy.
It was like a
tears,
lot of emotion.
Joy. Yeah. And I can totally see where gambling comes from if our ancestors were hunters. But the day carried on. We went to 3 or 4 sites, and near the end, I just happened to have the gun in my hand because I was carrying it for you when a duck went by, and kind of without thinking, I just raised it up and I took a pot shot at the ducks. I wouldn't say that I was necessarily expecting to hit one, and I wasn't disappointed that I didn't get it. But the act of shooting that gun felt quite natural, and I could probably do that more. Right? So outside of the experience of shooting a gun, I really thought that's interesting. I can see why people like that. Not that I don't want to do it, like not like I am opposed to doing that.
Yeah.
I thought at the cost of like, let's say it was $1 a bullet, and it might be more than that. I thought that's not for me. And then when I fired it, I was like, oh, I can see why people would be really find this really alluring. But I'm not positive I'd do it again. You didn't enjoy eating the duck.
No, it was
more of a spiritual thing.
It was more of a ritual. Yeah.
Yeah.
We woke up and all of our muscles hurt.
I just remember the shift of like, I don't think this is for me.
Mhm.
And then I saw the duck and I shot at it, and it was just fluid, right? Like your arms raised up and you point it and it clicks and it goes off. It's like, oh, that felt very natural. Like I feel like I can see why people like this.
Interesting. Yeah.
What were you shooting? What kind of rifles, shotguns, whatever?
And nothing less than a Winchester.
A 12 gauge pump action Winchester.
It doesn't matter. We don't know.
And you were firing what? Bird shot.
Nuclear
Yeah,
missiles.
3-inch buckshot rounds.
I will admit this too. There's a couple things about the trip that kind of left me feeling a little unstable. One is not so much shooting at ducks, not so much as eating the ducks we shot, but we stepped on a lot of plants.
Oh.
And like it took me years to sort of wrap my head around, stay on the path, don't disturb the path, and then like a lot of hunting means going off the path and walking through plants. And it was like, this is like, I can't believe we're stepping on plants here. Like a couple ducks didn't make it through the day, but lots of plants died. And
Didn't die, just got bent down.
well, but you're not supposed to step on plants, right?
I think we are city slickers, and when we see plants,
There's
we have very specific pathways and then
right.
specific growing areas where
Sure.
they're trying to grow the plant life.
But there was a lot of littered ducks carcasses.
There was.
And there was a lot of littered gun shells.
There was.
And those were two things
That
that left me
is
feeling a
something.
little
That's
raw.
different than the plants. I think the plants, like animals walk through, we walk through. There was
But
some.
pick up your bullets.
Yeah, and we did. We brought
picked
home
up all the
everything.
stuff, yeah.
So like we didn't shoot that much, so it was easier for us. But it was right. Like that's a good. And so did Travis and Leah. Like
They're
were
very respectful. But I was shocked at how many people
left stuff.
left debris. And there was another thing I found a little strange. Stepping on the plants and I can't remember what the last thing was.
So, did you kill anything in your hunting trip?
Jesse shot like point blank.
I
like
killed.
it was the shot of the day. And the other manly men hunters were all completely emasculated. I wasn't, but they thought I would be. They teased me.
We were in between two like ponds, and so the ducks were kind of going over and back,
way too high up. Yeah.
And it was really interesting.
But one swooped down past Jessie, and she just turned and pointed and took it out, like bam.
It was really interesting because like there's 4 of us and 3 of us with guns, and so you're always cognizant that there's other people beside you.
Right.
So they talked about having your area that you like look for. So they'd call out names like Jesse's on your side, or like and so we'd be respectful of not shooting over each other, right? And so that was interesting. And then we were also firing like up and over because they were firing like the ducks were going over us.
Your first shot was right.
It was over your head, yeah, 100%.
Right over my head, like just.
But then I moved to this one spot that Travis was in, and so because he was kind of
you had the prime spot, and then
Yeah.
you had the prime shot. But what was impressive was how you, without hesitation, just
it was
spun on it and took the shot. And I think that you're better at learning a new skill and adapting to it immediately. I'm often pretty good at inventing
new
solutions.
ways
So
to do things.
I got out there and I was like, none of my skill set is here. And the idea of practicing at being a hunter, that's probably not a goal for me. I think when I was 15, we used to spend a lot of time at the pool hall. My grandpa was a pool shark.
Yeah.
And a doctor,
Yeah.
but he grew up over a pool hall and he could pool shark anybody. High class British fella, but grew up over a pool and just had these mad pool skills. So I had in my brain I wanted to be like a pool shark as a kid, and I just thought if I invested enough time playing, that I'd get really good at it. And amongst my friend group, I was pretty good. But I remember we used to play in Woodbine in the pool hall where Terry lived, and we walked into the pool hall and. We were just getting the confidence to start betting money on games.
Mm-hmm.
This guy walked in and he just kind of walked up and said, you know, what's going on? And do one of you guys want to play for some cash? And Terry was like, he's like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And then the guy pulled out a pool cue and he screwed it together. And I was like, dude, that guy came in with his own pool cue. Like
You're not going to win against
Yeah,
him.
there's no way. And
Yeah.
then so Terry won like 2 games, and then he got his confidence. I'm like, I've seen this. I saw the Hustler. Paul Newman, man.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I bit my lip and I watched Terry lose his $50 when $50 to us was like
3,000.
he had a paper route.
Yeah.
That's where his $50 came
Yeah.
from. But yeah, like I knew that was going to happen, and I was just curious, like, oh, let's see how this plays out. But
But that idea that
immediately when I saw the guy with his own pool cue, I thought, you will never be the best pool player, no matter how much you invest into this game.
Yeah.
There's always going to be somebody with less to do in their life.
spent their life doing
Right.
this.
And so when I looked at like the beginning stages of hunting, by the time we got out of the truck, I was like, I'll never be good at this. At best, I could be okay if I started right now. And then I sort of lose interest if I'm not destined to have some kind of impact. There's nothing to invent.
Right. And you are the inventive brain. Like I what?
Well, because you remember how the ducks were way too high?
Yeah.
I have that wicked kite. And I was thinking, if I had my kite here, I could fly it way up and drive them down.
That's so funny.
And then I was like, we were kind of out of range for my phone, and I wanted to know if kite hunting. Kite hunting. Second time today, 2 words went together. Kite hunting. Did I say a bad word?
No, you stopped yourself. It was good. You enunciated very well. That was who would have thought kite hunting would be
That would have been an old school slur.
yeah.
I'm actually shocked because I have this secret theory that when people let those things slide, they're phrases that they will say. Do you know what I mean? Like when they say a word wrong, it's like often a word that they say all the time, but I don't say that word. For years, and I still do this. If I try and I say, pull out your sketchbooks in art, pull out your textbooks in science. But I often, between sketch and text, is very common. The S and the X, I often say, pull out your sex books. And they're all like, what? I'm like, no, I'm just tired. I'm just tired, please. Textbooks. Text, please.
Pull out your sex books.
Well, and it's just like I also slur my words, so it's not a word that I say, but it sounds enough like it that I can see why I panic and start to like clarify. That was supposed to be science textbooks. Oh yeah, that's the thing. Science textbooks or sketchbooks.
Yeah.
Between science textbooks and sketchbooks, it often gets blurred into a shorter word, which is
the bird.
I feel like I would go pull out your Tex-Mex.
What did you say?
Pull out your Tex-Mex.
Tex-Mex.
Right. Well, and that's my theory that if you use a phrase quite a bit, like, do you talk about Tex-Mex very often?
I love Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
I love that.
Is that sarcasm? I'm not good at following sarcasm.
No, really, it's my favorite cheese.
I still can't tell.
I believe that she likes the Tex-Mex.
What is your actual
cheese.
favorite cheese?
I really do like Tex-Mex.
I'm telling you, I'm not good with sarcasm. You're making fun of my
But
disability.
also, I like Gouda.
Okay.
Oh, I love Gouda.
It's pretty good.
Pretty Gouda.
Mine's Swiss cheese.
Yeah, you love this.
I think I cultivated a taste for Swiss cheese the same way I cultivated a taste for spinach. 100%. You don't really love spinach or Swiss cheese.
No, you're right.
Guess why I love Swiss cheese?
Why do you love
Tom and Jerry, 100%.
That's
It tasted weird the first time I tried it, but I'm like, if this is what Jerry loves, I'm having it.
Oh,
And then ask me why I love spinach.
Popeye.
1,000%. All the kids hate, like, spinach was the food. Spinach, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts was supposed to be the food that kids hated. But I bought into it 1,000% that if I ate spinach, I'd have big muscles. And 1,000%, I literally chose Swiss cheese to be my favorite cheese, probably before I even tasted it. And the first time I tasted it, I might have thought, oh, that's sharp.
Oh.
But I learned to love it the way you learn to love beer and cigarettes, too, because I wanted to be like Tom and Jerry.
I love that.
This is for you. Oh, wait, I'm going to paint a duck, but I forget what they look like.
Look, this is my duck. It's a golden
That's not
duck.
what they looked like, though. They had a very distinctive silhouette.
My duck was called a golden eye. And
It was gold.
I named it Gus Gus because I just said, I'm so sorry, Gus Gus. Thank you for your life. But then I realized it was a female goldeneye. So Gus Gus gave up her life. And we ate
You know what
Gus
else
Gus.
about Goldeneye?
Yeah.
Was there a
007?
was there?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, but that relates back to just the other day I was telling somebody the story about how I got my British passport and it was kind of like this big, hole in my heart when I was a kid. But then I got my British passport and it was kind of a relief. And then that summer we watched some James Bond movies, and out of the blue I'm like, he's my countryman. And I think the moment that I felt British for the first time was after getting my passport, seeing James Bond, and then thinking, oh, I'm British now. Isn't that funny?
Did
I
you
love
get a
that.
British passport?
My mom's Welsh and my dad's French Canadian. So my dad's like 8th generation French Albertan and 10th generation French Canadian. And my cousins all inherited dual citizenship
Because it used to be passed down through the dads,
through
the males of the.
And so as a kid, I was deeply wounded that my mother didn't have the respect of the Canadian government or the British government to hand me down my British passport.
Yeah.
I didn't really want it, but I was insulted by it. Then as a young man reading James Joyce and stuff, I decided I was going to take a backpacking trip.
Yeah.
And I looked into applying for my British citizenship, which I was, again, deeply wounded by, and found out it, wasn't really going to happen. And then years later, and this has happened to me a few times, when the most difficult kid in the world that I thought hated my guts, I had a class that was a health class. And in the health class, I had the kids do this future life project. And in the future life project, they didn't have to write anything. All they had to do is copy and paste the things they'd need to live. So whatever you wanted to do, if you wanted to be a graphic designer, find the school you want to go to, find the application to get in, just copy and paste the requirements to get into that school, find an apartment, and they're just copying and pasting the details they need to fabricate their dream lives. And this one girl's dream was to live in London.
Yeah.
And she didn't care what her job was. Another person's dream might be to be a marine biologist, and they didn't care where they lived, right? So like we would work your way back from what they wanted most.
Yeah.
This young lady, kind of difficult, said, I don't care what I do. I just want to live in London. And I'm like, well, that's a funny thing. I started talking to her about like immigrating and getting your paperwork done. And so she left that day totally charged. I'm sure I told her about how my cousins had British citizenship and I didn't. She came in weeping with joy. She said, Mr. Taylor, I have to tell you something. I'm like, oh, you can get your British passport. She's like, no, not even close. I'm like, well, what? She's like, you can get yours. And she was so happy that she discovered that I could get my passport.
So good.
That she was weeping.
Oh.
She also brought me an engraved bracelet from Robbins Island with Nelson Mandela's prison number when her family went to South Africa. Is that where Robbins Island?
Yeah, South Africa.
And so that meant a lot to me too, because I know that these were the things that I really valued and that she understood.
She knew about you, that she paid attention to. Aww.
So by the time I found out that I could get my British passport, my mom's health was starting to deteriorate and she had less and less sort of like, I think I waited about 5 years for her to pick up the documents I needed from the bank. And then the last time it came up, she lives in a care home now and she's not going to the bank. And there's a safety deposit box that has my mom's birth certificate and her passport and the things that I would have needed. And then Robin came into town from England and she collected all that stuff for me. My daughter. So I sent it all off and I had really big feelings because I don't like asking for stuff. And if they'd rejected me, I probably would have gone full blown don't say terrorist on TV.
Especially when talking about.
But I was like really like I felt on the cusp of really becoming overly disheartened because a lot of times like it's so hard for me to ask. We had a grant created for us and we applied to it and we got rejected. And it was like they happened to put my nemesis on the grant committee, and he let me know in advance that we weren't getting it. And he congratulated me. He said, "Tiki Bao, you've inspired a really big thing.
Yeah.
Better luck next time." And I was like,
Flippity flu. Flippity flu you.
I don't like asking. I especially don't like asking and getting a no. So I don't ask. Right. And then when I do ask, I put all my trust in for a fair shake. And I don't need a yes, I just need a fair shake.
That is a fair thing.
And it wasn't fair that I had to apply for my citizenship because they gave it to my cousins because their dad was from England. From Wales, really.
Wales. Really?
Also, do you know this? A few years ago, my cousin Joy sent me a picture of the house in Crystal City that my grandparents owned when they first moved to Canada. And I only went there like as an infant, but I remember they had a swimming pool and they had that winding staircase that I always talk about.
Yeah.
And it had been for sale for like nothing, like as much as a garage in Calgary would cost. And I'd considered pooling my cousins together and trying to buy this house in Crystal City.
Yeah.
Where is Crystal City?
It's in Manitoba somewhere, I think.
Oh wow.
But I was like an infant when I went there. And we didn't talk about it much. However, I only just barely know that my mom lived on Sunnybank Road, and she lived in a house on Sunnybank Road, but at the top of the hill. And I only know that because they had an engine that didn't have a proper starting, so they had to jump start the car down the hill. But they had the only car in town, right?
Right.
My grandpa was a doctor, and they lived in a house with 16 bedrooms, not including pantries and dens and offices. The cousin or my aunts and uncles each would pick several bedrooms and sort of like take over territories, but they lived in a house that was split into 2 separate hotels when they moved out.
Wow. There's
a historical novel set in Wales, in Blackwood, that they use my mom's house as the setting for.
Wow.
And it's a fictional novel, but they used my mom's real life house as a inspiration. And probably the author went and stayed in the hotel for a while they wrote the book. But I just guessed the name of the house, and then I noticed that was for sale. And so that's what I was talking to her about when we went and saw her. I was like, "Is this your house?" And she's in sort of like difficult to. So I'm pretty sure that was our house, but it's currently for sale.
That's crazy. We don't even have anything to pool.
not moving to Wales
I
yet.
want someone else to buy it so we could maybe even stay there one night. That would be kind of fun.
In the house my mom lived in.
Yeah. I did. Yeah, that would be pretty.
Like I was writing a post last week about how I became a teacher to get to know my mom. Right? Like she was this mystical figure that would, after I'd fed myself dinner and let myself into the house and de-thawed from the cold, she would sort of show up and take a bath and go to bed. But she was like world recognized as a great teacher. But she just gave it 100% all day long. And then for us, she was just burned out by the time she got home. She just needed some quiet time. So like I grew up very alone in my house.
Would you say she is pretty introverted anyways? And then
my mom and dad are both, and my sister, all 3 of them were very introverted.
Because I bet she needed,
like you said, we lived in separate corners of the house. Oh. And it's fun. Like I said,
and there's Rich.
And I annoyed everybody. So they really they barricaded the doors shut. I went whole summers completely unsupervised. And what blows my mind though is, and I can't ask her because she doesn't really speak well anymore. But not long ago, it occurred to me I have no memory of my mother in the summer times, and I do remember growing up alone in the house.
Yeah. But
I can't fathom where she went. I remember one year she had a job at a bookstore. Another year she had a job at a clothing store. So maybe she got a job every summer. But I don't know where my mom went July and August when she was a teacher. And you would have thought that'd be like the family jam time. Poor Felix doesn't get 10 minutes to himself. And
Felix, come hang out. Felix, come hang out.
Yeah. I got him figured out, though. Is he still here with us?
I don't know.
If I need him to come out of his room, I'll just put Stranger Things on.
Or, remember that one time we put on the one Disney record? And
that was crazy. What was the record?
Was it Dave Brubeck in Disney?
It was Dave.
No, I don't.
No.
No, well,
it was vague. It was a vague reference, and we're just listening to vinyl.
And it was like it was a story. Wasn't it a story?
No. It's the Muppets. It wasn't Disney, it was the Muppets.
Muppets.
But it was an album that was like made by somebody that was involved with the Muppets, and he caught the vibe and he came out.
Oh, it was Sesame Street. You're totally right.
It was the Sesame Street,
It was
yeah.
the Sesame Street record.
But it wasn't like a silly Sesame Street. It was a really cool Sesame
It
Street
was
record.
really sweet. Oh, guess what?
Chicken butt.
And putting the feathers in the freezer
Why? That's how
to
you kill.
kill any possible microscopic.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
After going hunting yesterday, I thought that we would go hunting because I looked it up. I didn't look like an idiot, so I did some research to see what hunting would look like. And I thought we'd go for about 3 hours. That was taking new people out, they'll probably keep it to a shorter trip. But we ended up out there for 14 hours on Orange Shirt Day, which we had off. You want to come back from Orange Shirt Day a little bit rested, but we got back in the middle of the night. And you and I, we cooked the duck, but it was kind of like I'm gonna have to wing science tomorrow, and so I winged the science. But what I did was I had the kids come in. It was a good day to take a bit of a break because they all got like 70% or above on their test. We went over the test. We repaired the dissecting microscopes, and then we took the microscopes out to the tarmac and looked at bugs, and the wonder and awe in the kids' faces when they looked at the bugs under the microscope.
That's how science class should be.
Well, and here's the thing: as a science teacher, you don't kill a bug and put it under a microscope. Like there's ethical issues, right?
Right.
But after hunting, I'm like, I probably stepped on 100,000 bugs this weekend. So, kidding. Just
Oh
kidding.
my god, I saw at least 50,000 spiders.
Can you see that?
Was that a legs?
No. Okay, let me tell you the layers of what we're looking at right here. If it can, this is a spider that had been stepped on. It wasn't by one of my kids. They found a dead spider.
Look at that.
I know. It's like
Oh, there's his little eyes.
all over the place. Geiger, okay? Geiger-esque. So this is,
Are those fangs?
yeah. And little follicles. Can you see the
Oh
follicles?
my gosh.
So this is the head of a spider on a piece of paper under the dissecting microscope that's at 20 times zoom. I managed to line my camera lens up to the viewer, which you need two hands because you're kind of stabilizing, and then you need somebody else to press the button because this is like, woo!
Yeah.
It's like Luke trying to shoot the missile into the Death Star. And we snapped the photo, but now the photo's on my phone, and now I'm holding my phone in front of a webcam, which is sending a signal through space into your computer and being interpreted by your computer screen. So there's the levels of simulacra here are remarkable. But look, it's like an octopus. Also,
Terrifying. That's honestly terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Well, and like they would pull in some leaves, but the leaves were all covered in mites. Like it was the perfect timing, actually,
That is the perfect time.
to have the kids tinker with the microscope. Sorry, it doesn't happen till later in the units. But I took a little break from heat,
Right.
to talk about the microscopes because of the change of the season. There's lots of dead stuff outside.
That is so good.
Speaking of which, we normally go to 9:36, but we're going to go to 9:26 tonight. The reason for that is I'm going to buy some ice to make ice cream tomorrow. And that's not 2 days of lack of planning. That's about heat
Yay.
and energy transfer.
That's
Were you
so
good at science?
I was. I entered into a science co-op in grade 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
I don't
was
know
advanced chemistry and bio.
Ah.
Oh, wow.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, but I can't remember a lot of what I learned.
That's okay. That's why I enjoy this question. Because I teach science 14 and -4.
Mhm.
And so do I tell this story online? No, I won't. But I do teach some kids that I'll tell the story online. We had a fire drill, and I had this brilliant kid in my class, and his buddies were like, "How's Dash 2, buddy? How's Dash 2?" And it was the closest I came to really rage losing my temper. And I had a really amazing conversation with the kids and the other kids, and they meant no harm, and they were just, they all play hockey, so they're all sort of like, being bros and teasing each other. But I have baggage about Dash 2.
Yeah.
And
empathy.
Yeah, and then even like we went to a staff party last year, and a couple of the people I work with didn't know my son was sitting next to them. They knew there was a kid at the party that they didn't know was my son. So they're chatting their funny story about how it's cute that I'm so good at teaching Science 14.
Yeah.
And one of them's like, "Well, we know why he's good at that." I was like, I understand I understood it wasn't meant with harm, but when my son heard it, right, he's just like, what do they mean, Dad? I'm like, "Well, your dad's a little strange, son." He's like, "I know that," but anyways, a number of things
he picks up on tone too.
Right. So a number of things, and that might be also a lot of the things that bother me aren't technically bad so much as that there was a tone there, right? So a couple things unfolded, and one was we had a really amazing talk about how schools. Did you ever have that toy when you were a baby? It was red on one side, blue on the other side. It had all these shape holes, and then you had matching yellow shapes that you'd pass through the holes.
Yeah.
Everyone had it. Turns out it was a Tupperware toy. Well, the way I describe schools is the red half has circles and the blue half has squares, and then there's all the rest of the different shapes. And a lot of kids can just pass through that yellow hole. You can even fit I know this for a fact, you can fit the oval hole through the round hole. And then if you're a square, which would be a auditory learner, or a circle, which would be a visual learner, you can pass in and out of those holes quite easily without any pressure. But some of the kids I teach, and myself included, we're more shaped like this, star power with chunks sticking out. And because of that, we have capabilities because we're huge shapes with multifaceted corners, and we're diverse and complex and interesting. But what we take for granted is to get through that hole, which is 100 times a day. The bell rings and you take your arms and legs off and you pass through the doorway and you sit down and you reassemble yourself in the seat. And you do this over and you pull out your textbooks, but you have to pull your arms off to put the textbook on the table. And you dismantle yourself and reassemble yourself 100 times a day to fit through that hole. And I don't want to be rude, but the basic shapes. And when you're not basic, when you're complex, and you have to dismantle yourself for every activity, if you're getting 60% in the mainstream classes, or if you end up taking a class where the information is delivered to you in a more comfortable manner, it's not an inability or deficiency. It's a fact of that we are octopuses who do battle on the plains against tigers, and we're at a disadvantage out of the water. But if those tigers had to spend 45 seconds underwater battling in the octopus pond, it'd be a different story. Right. What my kids were able to understand, and we really bonded, was talking about how we know we're not less. We're just shaped differently than common. We're uncommon creatures, and we have this opportunity to do some uncommon learning.
Yeah, that's so nice.
And we just lost somebody. But if you're still out there,
I hope Jessica's okay.
She might be recharging.
Yeah.
But I also promised them that no one else in the school knows how a refrigerator works. And they know the parts, but they don't know what they do. And that's super interesting because the part most people don't get is what makes the refrigerator cold on the inside. And, can you scratch my back?
Oh, yeah. I was going to.
Hello? Hello? hope I didn't get
Excuse me.
disconnected because it's going to take me forever to phone him back. Hello?
Galen said, "Do you have salt?"
I need to get new salt. That's
He
why
said, "I learned a lot about myself when you taught my son LOL." Ring, phone, dash.
Here, phone me one more time. Is there Kelly down there? There's Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Okay, I'm going to try phoning Galen. Oh, here we go. Hello?
Say hello a little slower.
Oh, hey. How are you? What's so funny? What did you learn about yourself when I taught your son? What? Here, let me ask you a question. Have we talked about how a refrigerator works? Do you know how a refrigerator works? How? Well, okay, I'm going to explain it to everybody. Is that cool? Okay. Jess, come here. Do you know how a refrigerator works?
I remember compression.
Yeah, okay. So in the book, you have this box, and the box is insulated, right? Do I want to draw on the nice paper?
No.
Can you just rip me off a piece of paper?
Yeah.
I'll draw right on the table.
Here, I got you.
This is our nice table. Okay, so in the textbook, oh, I need to remember to bring this tomorrow.
Do you want the graph too?
Yeah, all of it. You got this box, and the box is insulated, right? Which is why the ice inside the box can kind of stay cold for a while, because there's a surface in this box that stops the ice from cooling off slower.
Right.
Sure, but you can't stick water in a cooler, just a regular insulated cooler, and turn it into ice. You need a machine to do that, right? So your refrigerator has a coil in the back, and that's what most people learn. There's a compressor and a coil. A coil goes inside and outside, and inside and outside, and inside and outside, and then it loops around. And inside the coil, they might even know there's I want to say Freon or something.
Freon.
I don't think that's the proper name, but yeah, there's Freon, okay?
I think so.
Okay, so the Freon in the coil is circulating around the coil inside the fridge and outside of the fridge, right? Everybody remembers there's a thing called a compressor. Everybody remembers that there's a coil. Everybody remembers that there's Freon. Then they know they use electricity to power up the machine to make it cold inside the fridge. But it's really interesting. Have you ever had a snowflake? You're out at Christmas time, and I often remember this moment as the sky's either yellow or pink, right? Like it should be dark out, but for some reason the sky is lit. Mm-hmm. And it's yellow. I think maybe my theory is it's just a really big cloud that reaches all the way around to where the sun's still setting. It's 7 o'clock on a winter night, but the sky is glowing yellow and it's snowing on you, right? And even though it's cold enough for the water vapor in the air to turn to ice crystals, which is snow, you feel this warmth in the air. You're like, why are the ice crystals turning into ice if it feels so warm out? Now, in contrast, in the spring, you can be walking down the street and it's warm enough outside that the ice is melting, but you're freezing. And it might be 15 degrees, but you're freezing. You can't figure out why you're so cold when it's 15 degrees, why it feels so warm when it's -1 and snowing. And the reason for that is for the water to turn into ice, it needs to release the heat. It's got some heat trapped in the water. And when it makes that transition into ice, it releases a little bit of heat.
Oh.
And I got hit on the cheek in the cold last winter. On the day I was teaching this, I went out for a walk, and a wet drop touched my cheek. As a split second, it turned into
ice snowflake?
A snowflake, and I felt a little spike of warmth on my cheek because the water lost its heat when it went from liquid to solid. You got me?
Excuse me, yes.
Are you still there? Okay. Similarly, when we think about you put heat on a solid, it turns to a liquid. You put heat on a liquid, it can turn into a gas, right? When it goes the other way around, when a liquid becomes a solid, it's losing heat, and when a liquid's becoming a gas, it's stealing heat, right? Or when a solid's becoming a liquid, it's stealing heat,
Right.
right? So the gas that's in this coil goes through a compressor,
Yeah.
squishes the gas into a liquid, right? So when the gas is getting squished into a liquid, it would be the same thing if you're squishing a liquid into a solid, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so because when you pull the change of state, which would be solid to gas or gas to liquid or what have you, when you pull that, the temperature gets pulled with it. And then when you change the temperature, the change of state they're attached. So you pull one or the other. And we're often thinking about heat melting ice, but we don't think about compressing gas into liquid so that it can't help but steal the heat
from that space,
from the insulated box, while the coil goes into the compressor.
Right.
It's stealing the heat out of the box. It floats through that coil. It goes out the back of the compressor, and then when it relaxes, it's losing the heat.
Right.
So the heat from inside the box is being pulled, and it's being carried along that coil. When it's outside the box and the pressure is released, it releases, turns back into gas, and then that's how a refrigerator works. So I ask that of all my STAR students all the time, over and over again.
Click this right there.
And the reason I ask them of that is because, first of all, the kids in my class inside and out know how a refrigerator works.
Yeah.
But also, like the other kids winning the science awards should also know, beyond the coil and the compressor, why it gets cold inside that box. And hot on the outside, yeah. Whatever you're doing, the inside of that box is pumping out the backside of your fridge. And why your air conditioning unit sits outside the window so ugly that way. All right. That was a fun conversation. Yeah. Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye. I wonder, if Galen's more connected to us than we are to Galen, in the sense that, we don't always know when Jack Pike is here. He seems to know a lot about the broadcast, so maybe he watches and doesn't always say hello, but it's pretty sweet that when he does say hello, I feel really connected to my friend. But it does make me wonder how often people are following us and we're not getting an indication that they were. Hi, Kelly.
I've been busy. I built, me and my friend are building this.
Oh. Haunted house outside?
Yeah. Haunted house in Pump Hill.
Cool.
The whole backyard. I actually repainted a couple of the backgrounds.
Did you grow up in Pump Hill?
No, I didn't.
Where did you grow up again? Spring Lake.
Buena Vista.
Buena Vista. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we've been I didn't leave until 6:30. Because I started at noon. He started at 11. The walls weren't even up, so we were waiting for the walls to be built.
Nice.
So then we actually have to put tarp. Tarp for the garden up? But you have to do three layers to keep the light out. Jess, I'll send you an entire video of the walkthrough so you can see what it looks like.
Cool. That'd be fun.
And we've created our own custom curtains and stuff. So tomorrow is putting the props in. It's for kids, eh?
Nice.
Yeah. So and then I'm making this guy. He's going to go to a campground.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I've been busy. So I have that. Screenfest starts next weekend. I have a market this weekend. So I've been really busy.
That's good. That's good busy, though. That's awesome.
And then I have paintings to go in that super macho something. It's at
miles to go before you sleep. Miles to go before you sleep.
November 8th, I think there's a gallery thing at the Sea Space.
Nice.
So I'm in that. So I have to make 30 paintings.
Awesome. That is good for you. That is good.
So yeah, lots to do.
That is wonderful.
There's a Chinese curse that says, "May you live in interesting times." Actually, I don't know if that's true or not. That might be just one of those things people say, like the witch that would scar the girls so that they could grow up with some character. Do you know that story?
Yeah.
I do actually, right this minute, wonder how many of those stories are true. Not that there were
stories are all true; they reveal truth.
You know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
Like if it's actually a myth, or if somebody says, "Oh, there was a myth," because you can say that about anything.
Also, tomorrow is the day I get the COVID and the flu shot at the same time.
Nice.
Because I don't want to be sick at the end of October again.
Well, we almost got a free COVID shot thrown in with our with our deal.
You guys aren't on strike, are you?
On Monday.
Oh no, that sucks.
Well, it would suck more if the government got what they wanted. Sorry, politics out of it.
You can talk political. I don't think there's any reason right now you can't talk about that. And I'm often cautious about these things, but I don't see any reason why a public educator wouldn't feel comfortable talking about her experience.
Right. Like it does. It totally sucks, Kelly, that we have a government that wants to defund public.
Way to go after the government. I'm just kidding.
Public education.
Yeah.
It totally does suck. You're totally right.
They don't realize that teachers play a huge part in kids' development and everything.
We actually do realize
No,
that.
she meant they don't.
No, I know.
Kelly, that's what we've been saying. Like Rich always says, if you don't fund education, in 12 years you're going to be funding the jail system, and it's a cycle. And the people, if they don't see the results immediately, some people can't fathom the power and the
disagree.
Importance.
I think that Danielle Smith absolutely can see the power of education.
That's why she's putting so much money into the private sector.
I think that she really appreciates dismantling education because it's
in 2008
disempowering to her to have an educated populace.
In 2018, she explicitly said to defund public education so private could flourish, and she's putting all of the taxpayer money into private schooling.
But I don't think it's about schools.
And
I think it's about
wants specific kinds of people educated.
But I think it's about dumbing down the populace. There's an intentional stupefaction happening.
So we'll see how
I love that one time that I wrote something on my mind on the Rumble House, and somebody that didn't know me at all said, "I'm really surprised. I would have thought Rumble House would be above sharing their political opinions." I'm like, who the hell are you? And you know nothing about me. I created this platform for the sole purpose of mouthing off.
Nice to meet you. My name's Rich.
Right.
And actually, you always get those comments. Like the other day, you had a comment where someone was saying, like, "I don't know what you're doing, but I'm a teacher, and you're like, me too, bro." I think we're agreeing. It's hard. It's hard when everyone's emotions are super heightened.
Can I say on that point?
Yeah.
Because I think initially that person knew me through the gallery, and they would have had no reason to think that as hard as we worked on the gallery would have also had careers as teachers, right? So when people don't know that I'm also a teacher, and Oliver says I would always brag about it, but I always felt like I was admitting to it. And but what I was going to say is when people don't know I'm a teacher, it is kind of a nice little weapon in your back pocket where it's like, okay, so I'm going to let you, wind the noose. And so had I come to confrontation with that person, I would have said, "Are you saying to me, how long have you been a teacher?" "Oh, 8 years." "Are you saying to me that because you've taught for 8 years, do you honestly think your opinion is more valid than mine?" And then if they said yes, I'd be like, well, because I've taught for 20 years. Joke's on you, sucker. But it didn't come to that. And I honestly don't know how that miscommunication happened, because I would think.
I just mean like it's often the case where that kind of
I
like,
wouldn't look at me and think that guy's a teacher.
I guess so. You're so handsome.
Kelly, what's your favorite book?
The Lion Whisperer.
The what?
The Lion Whisperer.
The Lion Whisperer?
Whisperer, cool.
Is that a sequel to the Horse
I just
Whisperer?
haven't read it in a while.
Is it a sequel to the Horse Whisperer?
No,
Did they know that the name sounded the same?
I can't remember the actual name of the book, but I know who is in the book.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I will tell you that one of my favorite books is called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. And so very often I'll see a similar play of words for other books. And I always find it strange that they would have.
Sorry. Galen was saying educated people ask tough questions and challenge the norm like that young man did. And then they shut him down like he was in a totalitarian state. Yeah. Sorry. I mean,
No, you're not wrong.
cut you off.
You're not wrong to cut me off. What was that? What was his name?
Evan?
Evan Lee?
Evan.
I felt the entire weight of that comment the first time I saw it.
Mhm.
I kind of expected it. There'd be. I think I expected that it wouldn't get. That it wouldn't catch on. People wouldn't see the horrific nature of it. I thought that's the kind of thing that will get overlooked.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that it wasn't overlooked. And the only thing that I'm concerned about at this point, and this might seem a little counterproductive, I don't know anything about Evan Lee. I think it's amazing that he was at that town hall to ask questions. That his question got shot down like that put him in the public eye.
Yeah.
And I hope he's supported and ready and well to take on the. Is he on TV right now?
No, just after Nahed and she took the time to talk with him afterwards.
Yeah.
So, and the NDP party sent us the link to the.
Yeah. So sometimes, like that kid, I'm assuming he's pretty bright, but could have very well found himself, in over his head because of the media attention that comment got. And the same time, looks promising.
Yeah.
And also, how can you afford a $280,000 rug for your office and then turn around and say that teachers got to pay it? We're leaving at the bell at 9:04. We got to pull over to No Frills to get the salt for my ice cream experiment tomorrow. 100% my school would pay for that, right?
Yeah.
But there's so many things I need all the time that I'm not going to ask for it, so that when I do need something, I can still go in and say, hey, I can't get by with, like, I needed an anatomical bowl this year. And because I never asked for anything, there wasn't a lot of resistance when I said, can't get by without an anatomical bowl.
I love that statement.
Yeah. It's pretty special. Pretty special bowl. So what did he have to say to Nahed Nechi?
I didn't read it. I have to listen to it when we're off the brighter.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think we can play it right now, but I am intrigued, and I'm also quite pleased. I quite like Nechi.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it was.
I don't think he can save us. I actually didn't think he could save us the first time. When I discovered Nahed Nechi, I was like, that guy's amazing. He's got no chance here. And then,
as I saw, paper towel?
Yeah, as I saw him rolling towards power, I became obsessed with not so much city politics, but the idea that if this guy knows this much and he still doesn't win, up against Rick McIver, I felt like I wouldn't be able to look the people in line at Safeway anymore. Like I'll be standing in line at Safeway thinking, what idiots voted for Rick McIver? And in fairness, I think I kind of maybe have changed my mind about Jeremy Farkas. I used to think he was the worst thing that could happen. I also kind of miss Jason Kenney. And I never thought I'd say that out loud.
Things we never thought we'd say.
Yeah. Everybody thought he was going to get his comeuppance, and
We got ours.
it was us, yeah. I don't think I had any delusions that Danielle Smith would be better than Jason Kenney, but I do remember people celebrating him getting walked out the door thinking it's going to be so much worse. And guess what? So much worse. What am I hearing in the background? Sounds like the news or something.
Oh, my feet. The bottoms of my feet hurt from walking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're totally right, Galen.
What did Galen say?
The people elected to represent the public are answerable to the public, and politicians have forgotten that.
Well, I'm going to tell you my theory on that. Is I think that there is a somebody was talking today about how it wasn't so long ago that we had a NDP government, but I think when we did have an NDP government, we had a split between the two conservative governments, and it wasn't that the NDP government failed, it's that we didn't have a split between the reasonable conservatives and the crackpot conservatives. And I think I'm going to tell you straight up that I think there's a lot of reasonable conservatives out there, but if most of the province is just barely conservative, almost half the province isn't, but more than half is conservative. And then amongst the conservatives, if a larger percentage of them are less reasonable, then what you end up with is a 5% of the province leading the province's decisions. It's half the conservatives, just slightly more than half the conservatives being interested in the less reasonable arguments. It's 35% of the country, province is leading the pack. And I honestly think maybe one of the solutions is going to be uniting the left. And I also think maybe even like a fissure right, and then it still might be kind of tied because it's just a crazy world we live in.
Isn't that the truth?
But I remember even as far back as Jason Kenney being elected, thinking things are going to get harder for a while.
Yeah.
I said that out loud, but it's actually been quite some time until now when we're starting to actually feel
the weight.
Yeah, impact.
Yeah.
And I think it's 5 more years of struggle, at least. I'm actually expecting, you know this, that I will end on a high note of my teaching career, and you're going to go into some golden years. Those last few years that you're teaching and I'm retired,
yeah,
will be some golden years, and you'll be reaping the rewards of the high note. I'll be ending on a high note, and you probably will go past the high note and back into a decline.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it depends what you want, right? Like we were talking about how people look back at the 60s and think it was this magical time, but it was actually a horrible time. It's magical because people were fighting against all the awful things that were
They
happening.
were connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Right. That's right.
the other thing that's going to happen is at the end of your life, you're going to look back at the hardest parts of your life and think, man, that's what I miss.
When I was
And,
really living.
a lot of people have kids and they're waiting for their kids to grow up so that they can do their own thing. But when they get old, they're going to look back and the parts they're going to miss is those days are rushing the kids to hockey and
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Okay, I remember I had report cards and I was busy and something had come up where Robin needed an emergency pickup from dance. And I don't think what she understood was that I was going to lose my job if I didn't get my work done by the next morning. And I had an entire night's worth of work to do. Like I was already planning to
Work late. Like
work all night.
Yeah.
And she needed a ride home from the Young Canadians. And she was injured. And so I picked her up and I was like, kind of like, and I'm in the middle of report cards and I went to go pick her up, but I was also quite stressed at all the other things that were going wrong in my own life. Do I have a blue jar here?
blue jar. Oh,
Blue. My blue jar?
yeah.
Um,
Let me see.
And I remember I was just desperate to get on with my homework. And then while I was driving her home, she wanted to stop to get some Epsom salts. And I just didn't have I didn't have the extra time to do it. Like I was out of time. And looking back, I do wish that I'd stopped and get those Epsom salts. But at the time, it seemed impossible that I would. Remember that other time? I missed a day of school, and my staff had voted at a staff meeting to change the day that the report cards were due. And I found out on a Wednesday night that my report cards were due on Thursday instead of Monday. And I was so incredibly proud of myself to have gotten my work done in advance so that I wouldn't be compromising my schoolwork for my gallery work. And I found out because I'd taken that one sick day, nobody told me that we voted on moving the due date of the report cards. I remember I was just devastated. And you were my friend back then. You stayed up most of the night helping me get my grades imported. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then you got mad and you made me walk home in the cold.
And you blew. I do remember that. I was overwhelmed.
You were driving. I can't remember why I didn't have a car. But I didn't have a car. Maybe I was going to ride my bike earlier, but then after spending the entire night doing report cards, it was too late to ride my bike home. And you were very kind to help me put my report cards in. But then you're like, I'm good home now. And it was like, oh, could I catch a ride with you? You're like, you will walk home. You remember that?
Okay, I wasn't very good.
You stayed up all night helping me.
No, but I know. And that that's a bad part about me is I go and I go and I go. And then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I am giving myself the.
It was just such a random thing.
Yeah.
Right?
No, totally. And I
that
understand
much all night helping somebody. It was minus 60 that night.
I know.
I thought I was going to die.
I
kind of hoped I'd die because I was that tired.
No.
But I figured you'd feel bad if I did.
100%.
Did you find my ink?
No, I said I can't find a blue container like you might need to.
No, I have a jar of mix. It was on the table when we were setting up. That's why I thought
no. I didn't know you had a jar of mix.
Did we do all the songs?
I believe so. We did all the songs and we did the fire one and we have about 10 minutes left. I don't know where to. Is it in your cabinet?
All I can tell you is this. Earlier, I thought I'm going to paint with my blue. And then we're setting up and I couldn't see my blue. And I thought, that's okay, I'll paint with these. And then I thought, well, if I want, I know there's a blue nearby. So what I like about it, it's got a deeper, kind of darker depth to it.
Yeah. No,
and I thought to myself that that blue can't be far.
Yeah.
But I didn't move it, so I don't know where it is.
Did you take it to school?
No, because I'm telling you, it was here when we started to clean up,
I don't know.
and then when I actually started loading the table back together,
Yeah.
I noticed it wasn't. I couldn't see it, but I knew it was here. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I just don't recall anything, so I can't. Like I came when this was already set up, so I don't even know. I was in the kitchen. So
what are you hearing me say?
That you don't know either.
That I would know if I moved it.
Yeah.
Because it was of value to me to know where it was.
I would also know if I moved
Rarely.
it. I'm just saying.
Rarely.
I was not in the room when it was being.
I love you.
shifted.
I love that you're like the brains behind keeping us like sane and afloat. But when I don't know where it is, it almost always ends up being somewhere, and then you'll go, "Aha! Look, I put it here," and I'll go, "That's not a aha."
What was that?
That's something I got to do.
Okay, I think we're gonna say good night for the night. So
A nom Mexican.
Rich is gonna learn French. We are gonna say we love you so much. Kelly and Theo and Galen and Amanda and Jessica. I'm gonna check in that you're okay. I
I
saw
think
you
she just ran out of batteries.
just ran out of battery. Okay, perfect. So we love you so much, you guys.
Are you
We're
singing to
so
us?
grateful for your time.
This is just the start of the painting.
I love that.
Maybe I'll put a whole city under the water here.
I
Like a
love
Don
that.
Quixote at the bottom, and
I love that.
yeah.
It has to be Ahab.
Call me Ishmael.
It's so good.
Theo, have you read Moby Dick?
Nope.
It's my favorite
Or
book.
if I did, it was in school. And well, as I've mentioned a few times, when I read a book, I forget everything the second I close the final page.
You enjoy it while you're reading it?
Oh, I enjoy everything when I read. Yep.
That's interesting. It's actually, it sounds a little bit like when I used to run the Rumble House or the Gorilla Houses at the Wednesday nights. My brain did not make new memories, and so I was just so heavily involved in taking care of problems that I had a lovely time at the Rumble House. I had a lovely time at the Gorilla House. One of the things I really enjoy about the Isle of Roux is I'm much more present, and I do remember them after the fact. Right? I didn't remember most of the rumbles, and it would cause problems because I remember after one of the Gorilla House events, somebody goes, "Are you really going to paint at the sex show?" I'm like, "No, I'm a teacher. Like, what the hell are you talking about?" They're like, "You said you painted the sex show," and I was editing a video, and at the moment of the video I was on, Darcy walks up and asks if I'll paint with him at the sex show. I'm like, "Sure." And Elijah and I looked at each other like, "That's crazy." And then a clown walked by on screen, and the real live Elijah sitting next to me goes, "What? There was a clown there?" But even more amazingly, the video Elijah walks by the screen, turns around and goes, "What? Why the hell is there a clown here?" And it was like we were watching like a comedy about not remembering what was going on. I couldn't have written something so funny because that turned out to be. Theo, pick a song for Jesse to sing. Oh, I know.
Oh,
Mary Poppins.
yeah.
Chimney.
Weird. I just randomly
Chim,
found a
chim,
quote
chim.
from one of the writers of the songs in
There's
Mary
no
Poppins.
one as lucky as Richard Taylor.
Hold on.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheree. I know that he's lucky because Richard is me. I know that he's lucky because Jesse I see.
Winds in the east, mist coming in, like something is brewing about to begin. Can't put my finger on what lies in store, but I fear what's to happen has all happened before.
I know. Don't stop.
I'm trying to find the
Winds from the
lyrics.
east.
Why won't they just give me the lyrics?
Because I think it's a different song. I think what you were just doing.
Oh no, here, I got it. Happened before. Father, mother, daughter, son, the threads of our lives are all raveled undone. Something is needed to twist them as tight as the string you might hold when you're flying a kite. That's cool. Yeah, you're right. I think it is. You're totally right.
Okay. It was sung for.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo.
Yeah, no one as lucky as Richard Theroux. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chimney. I knows that he's lucky because Richard is me.
He
Good night, you guys.
knows that he's lucky because Richard is he.
With just next to me.